provost, faculty, and staff. Of this great university. My dear friend, Dean Brian Atwood, fellow Liberians who are here in this hall, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, I'm immensely proud to be here in Minnesota at the Hubert Humphrey Institute of Public Affairs. I'm delighted to see so many old friends again. I would like to thank my friend of many years, Dean Brian Atwood, for the invaluable work he does to advance public discourse on democracy, civil liberties, and social justice here at this institute. I thank him also for his many years of support for Liberia through the National Democratic Institute. This Hubert Humphrey Institute of Public Affairs stands as a towering statement to a great American statesman and social justice advocate, former Vice President Hubert Horatio Humphrey, an accomplished legislator of the state and a national leader of the United States of America. Vice President Humphrey was a central figure in President Lyndon Johnson's administration, which presided over one of the greatest periods of social and economic transformation and opportunity in the United States and in the world. I therefore feel honored to be here to participate in this interactive forum, which is consistent with the Humphrey tradition of public engagement and dialogue. 4 years ago, during a pre-campaign visit to this hospitable Twin City area, I had the opportunity to visit this institute. At that time, I was preparing for the candidacy for the presidency. I was encouraged, vision of support, which I received from so many of you. Today I come back as the first democratically elected president in Liberia and in Africa. And I come back to say thank you to my fellow Liberians in the state and throughout the United States, and to all of our American friends who stood by us. After a long and complicated history of freedom and repression, success and failure, Liberia started the transition to democracy with the elections in 2005. We had very little to build on, but the will of a very resilient people to survive and the desire of a hopeful people to live a normal life. The period of transition must also be transformative through a socio-economic and political reordering. Indeed, a national renewal. One that would signal a fundamental break with the past and bold and decisive steps to address the problems that for decades had stunted our progress, undermined national unity, and kept old and new cleavages in ferment. To achieve this transformation, we will face challenges, both internal and external. Our internal challenge is twofold. First, to reconstruct our broken nation, its infrastructure, and its institutions. To restore basic services to our citizens. To reform our military and paramilitary institutions, which for nearly a quarter century, especially during our 14 years of civil conflict, owe their allegiance not to the state, but to specific groups and interests. Second, to reduce pervasive poverty by providing employment opportunities to our people, to restore their dignity, to renew and restore the spirit of hope, and to build the values of individual self-confidence and integrity. The external challenge is similarly twofold. To restore our country's bilateral image, to move from the characterization of a failed state to that of a potential post-conflict success story. Lost partnerships with nations and institutions to provide the regional peace through economic cooperation and integration. Second, to regain our country's creditworthiness and regional competitiveness, to demonstrate an influential leadership role on global development issues. We have come a long way in meeting these challenges. Our formulated vision, as stated in our poverty reduction strategy, or Lift Liberia as we call it, is clear. To build a new nation that is peaceful, secure, and prosperous, with democratic and accountable governance based on the rule of law, with equal opportunities and equity for all our citizens. Our development agenda in pursuit of that vision embodies our 4 pillars with which many of you are familiar: peace and security, economic revitalization, governance and the rule of law, and infrastructure and basic services. A new 2,000-person army undergoing training with support from the United States is expected to be professional and well-equipped to protect our geographic integrity, to contribute to development through its engineering contingent, to respond when called to national emergencies with due respect for the rights of citizens and the rule of law.